Hey Lisa,
Hey, what's up?
I am good. Look at me, I'm growing up. I'm good. I'm getting you.
I'm okay too. I'm actually really okay.
Any updates? Anything we should know about?
I got a job.
We are
Actually,
employed.
what?
We are booked. We're going to get paid.
Yeah, I hope so. It's such a weight off my shoulders.
Is it within your industry or what's happening? What's happening?
No, no, it isn't. It's for an office manager. Which is the first time that I'll be any sort of manager,
You're going to
any sort of admin.
you're going to manage. Yes, we're in a manager. Management.
Whatever. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. I'm sorry that I keep doing this.
It's the black in you. I'm so happy for you, genuinely. I feel like people might think that from listening to the episodes, oh, by episode 3 you had a job. It's been a long time coming, guys. It's not something that Christy just picked up by episode 3.
Yeah, since March. Got let go March the 7th. It's September now.
Struggle City. But I'm so proud of you for moving out of your comfort zone for the money.
For the money.
Okay, update on my side. I am still a klutz mess, but I'm a mess who's now got some control of her anxiety. I took a good minute just to cry everything out. And then I think I spoke to my mom about it as well, spoke to Bestie, and then I spoke to you eventually about it. Guys, don't have panic attacks and midlife. Am I midlife? No. Quarter life crises. And not tell your business partner. I think that's a different episode on its own. But I had my quarter life crisis, and then Kristen was like, "Yeah, this one's losing her mind." So she kept calm, and then she was like, "Okay, it's fine." And how does that make you feel? She did the whole therapy thing, and then eventually we had a session, and I was just like, "I'm so sorry." I did not mean to lose my mind. I'm so sorry. And then we got back together. I think this past weekend was a true highlight and example of how being friends with your business partner can be of such great help, because had you been any other business partner, it would have been like, this is a true sign of unprofessionalism, A, B, and C, this is inappropriate. Whereas I think because we're friends, you could pick up pretty quickly that, nah, this one's having a mental breakdown. She's not. Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here in this partnership, friendship.
It was a struggle to wait for you to open up, so I know she's just going to be like, no, everything's cool, everything's fine if I ask her. And I just had to wait.
I'm so sorry. I will speak from now on. No more acting like everything is fine when it's not. With that being said, guys, welcome back to New Money Rookies, episode 3, Suppliers and Vendors. This is the episode that I think many of you will be excited for. For those of you who are new, let me remind you that New Money Rookies is a weekly podcast that takes a look into the running of a small business, between friends, the challenges that they face, and how they go about balancing friendship versus partnership. Hello and welcome. My name is Nwabi Samsizi, and look who's back for episode 3, guys. It's getting so consistent. None other than Kristen Spooky Hill.
Hello. It's Kristen, the Spook Hill.
She's back, guys. I think around episode 8 she's no longer the spook because she'll be here all the time.
Yeah, we'll see. Like you said it now, but
who knows? She might disappear. I spent a good year and a half convincing people on our TikTok that you exist. So proud of you for being consistent.
Yeah, I'm also proud of me.
Guys, wherever you're listening to our podcast, please make sure to follow, make sure to like. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section. If you would like to figure out where exactly we are, any of our social medias, click on our link tree and you will find the links to all of our social media platforms for this podcast. Otherwise, go to www.thehro.co.za, go under our blogs tab, and then you will find every episode there. Kristen has set it up for you guys so nicely. Otherwise, check us out on social media. Go to the H Word ZA. This is for TikTok and for Instagram, the H Word ZA. On Facebook, look up at How Is Your Hair, and you will find us on there. With that being said, let's start episode 3. Okay, guys, suppliers and vendors. This is, Christy, we're stepping on uncharted territory. This is suppliers is fighting words on these social medias. If you're not paying for them, you are stealing them or finding them. Okay, let's get into it. First things first, guys. Let's give you guys a difference between the two. I think we refer to vendors and suppliers as the same. People will say, I'll give you my vendor list, I'll give you my supplier list. We refer to them as the same, but they're not exactly the same when you look at the supply chain management system. So a vendor is usually an individual on their own or an entity that buys or acquires the product from a manufacturer, and then they sell it to the customer, whereas to a supplier is more of the actual manufacturer of the product, or the person who sells you raw products or sells you the equipment to make the product. But you have instances where a business can be the supplier and the vendor at the same time. So, for example, I'll give you guys the H-Word. With the H-Word, we have two subdivisions. We have the satin accessories range. We have the Menkenti range. With the Menkenti range, we are a vendor because we buy the products from a supplier and then we sell them to the customers. Whereas in contrast with the satin, we are buying from other suppliers. We're manufacturing by ourselves, and then we are selling it to the customers whilst also supplying those who want to perhaps buy in bulk and sell to other customers. You can be both, and we are balancing both. Look at me. That was such good English. Ooh, guys, if you knew what time it was, you would be so impressed. Kristen, let's get into it. Let's talk suppliers and vendors with the H-Word.
Yes, let's do that. Pizza.
Let's start with, I think, how we started the entire approach with suppliers and vendors. What was our first look into it?
Material, I think.
Definitely. Because at the time we were just a satin accessories business. We hadn't even thought of diversing or growing into hair and skincare.
Yes. So for the material, it was during COVID, but there were still shops open. Because this didn't take place right when we started, which was in July of 2020. So you went around your towns looking for material and getting samples, and I did the same up here in Pretoria.
In the big city.
Yes, and then additionally, later on, we also got samples from online companies and from companies in other provinces. And I think it was sent to me or to you, and then we'd send it back and forth to each other. And that is how we went about getting our material supply, which is our main, at the time it was our main
supplier
thing that we needed. Yes, that was satin. And also learning the difference between different satins and really like the quality, because we didn't know anything at that point. We just knew that we didn't want the same quality that we saw in the shops. That was what we had to go on.
That was definitely experience. I think if we take it just a step back, learning the grades of satin, learning what grade of satin is applicable or not applicable, is usable for humans in terms of hair that won't cause damage. So we had to first educate ourselves on satin, educate ourselves on the grades, and then educate ourselves on which grade would work perfectly for your actual hair and skin. And then going out to find suppliers with those grades was another mission. I feel like Christy says it so eloquently that you guys might think it's easy. The amount of, you have to have a budget, I think, for suppliers. You have to have a budget for how much we're going to spend in finding samples. Because some people give you free samples, and some suppliers are like, no, you need to buy a meter of material or half a meter, and that's your sample. So definitely when it came to me driving around all these small towns, George Neisner, Otur, and all these places, trying to figure out supply, whilst it was the pandemic also, was so difficult because you couldn't touch. They were like, no, you touch it, you buy it. There's no touching experience here. That's not who we are in this company. So it was definitely experience. And then also being realistic with our budget, also with the suppliers. It was one of those things where we were getting these samples, but whatever material we were going to choose with these samples, we had to be realistic in terms of ourselves, of can we afford to get this in like bulk and solid tin, whatever. So that's a whole different other topic, but just I wanted to highlight that with the concept of what Christy said with suppliers. So Christy, the switch from, how did we go? I can't remember because my memory's terrible. How did we go about switching from physical suppliers to then online suppliers? Because I feel like we ended up eventually choosing a supplier online. How did we do that switch?
So that was later on when we hit a hiccup. The satin we used was no longer being produced, and we had to find a different place. And that was when we expanded our search to online shops in other provinces. We found this place online, and they had a good reputation. And then we got samples from them, and it was fine. It was just fine at that point. We were like, And I think we got another sample from him for something different that we wanted to make. And that was it. That was the satin that we decided on. And then going through the process of buying in bulk, because at that point it worked out much cheaper because they gave us a discount on a roll of material. It was okay. Like, we phoned them, or they phoned us actually, once we put in the order. Do you remember? And I had to take over this because you were initially doing it.
Yes, and then yeah. So guys, you'll kind of learn through stories here. I'll start something and then Christy has to finish it.
Yes, but also, can I even talk about this? It was also a bit of an issue where they weren't taking you seriously
at all.
Because
At all. They weren't even responding to my Instagram like DMs. Like, yeah, I feel like they did not take me seriously at all.
They heard your accent and they thought this is a white lady. And then once they heard my colored accent, they were on board. So
damn it, I need to work on my colored accent. I need to work on my color. I have it. It's there. It just needs to be worked on.
Just be aware, you guys. These are people who are a little bit older than us, maybe like a bit older than your parents' age. Yeah, that happens. Sometimes you'll have to put on an accent. Sometimes you'll have to get your business partner to take over something that you were initially in charge of.
Okay, now the memories are coming back. So we had 3 supply experiences, guys. It was the initial starting the business. We need to find suppliers and vendors. And then there was our material doesn't get manufactured anymore, so we need to switch up. So then we had to go through the supplier search again. And then obviously later on, when we wanted to expand the business, we then had a supplier vendor moment again. So I remember with the second attempt, it was so much more difficult because number one, people want you to buy names and lists, and people are like, oh, I have suppliers and vendors, I have the people you're looking for, but I need 1,000 rand to give you 10 names. Or I had to figure it out myself, so like, you have to figure it out yourself. And I was like, but like your business says you're a supplier, so that's why I'm not approaching you because you're another business in the same field as me. It's because you're a supplier. But now that I'm with you, talking to you, I'm having to fork out money for you to give me a list that I must still approach. That felt crazy for me because we didn't have the budget at the time. And I remember calling, oh my gosh, and I don't want to, let me just be brutally honest. Calling Durban suppliers was the most horrible experience because you call and you can hear a million people on the phone. And you can just tell that they have the number, they have this online presence, but they're not equipped to handle their physical store and customers who aren't physically there. Because this one guy tells me, wait. And for 10 minutes, this person in between our call and whatever he was doing, he would be like, mid me asking a question, he'd be like, wait, wait, wait. Deal with the customer. I'd hear him ring up the customer's entire thing, order, pay, come back and say, what do you want? And I'm just like, you're kidding me. You're absolutely kidding me. So I feel like a lot of online presence of a lot of suppliers is very difficult to handle because they will not respond to DMs. They will not answer the phone. They will not respond to emails. It's very, very difficult finding a supplier in the especially because of how saturated the market is. People aren't out here dishing out who their suppliers are. So that was an interesting
Yes.
experience with suppliers and vendors. We don't mind giving away names of suppliers and vendors, guys. It's not like, oh, we have an issue with it, but it's also like we're not advertising for people for free. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you go to the H word ZA on any of our social media platforms. Ask us any questions. If you guys have any questions, drop into the description or the comment section of any of our podcasts. Ask your questions. Kristen loves answering questions, guys. I've heard this from a reliable source.
Yeah, I do. Um, anyways, yes, but also you will notice that we follow a lot of our suppliers and vendors on our social medias. So
So it's easy. Like we
mm,
and Christy does this amazing thing where every season we kind of celebrate our suppliers and our vendors. So if you go and look up our blogs, go to the hword.co.za, go to the blogs tab, you will find blogs where Kristen will tag them. So we tag our suppliers, she mentions our suppliers. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for the blogs. Kristen is an amazing writer, but she always makes sure that the suppliers are on there. So those are our suppliers. Blogs on the hword.co.za, or go to the H word ZA on social media and you will find our list of suppliers and use them if you want to use them. That's it's up to you. You just know how to talk, know how to approach them. But don't go to a supplier unsure of what you want because suppliers are busy, guys, especially bigger suppliers. So you have to specifically know what you want. If you're going to be asking a million questions, you're not going to have a fun experience like me. Like I had a really horrible experience. So that was the material supplier. Then came the experience of hand skincare. And now we need a different supplier. This is a whole different game. We're not supplying in terms of material now. Now we need actual organic raw products. That was another experience on its own. Also, guys, you'll notice that we don't mention any foreign suppliers or vendors in this podcast because we keep everything locally sourced. It's just our way of making sure that we are boosting the economy.
uh, I think this is gonna need to be a two-part
I think so
episode.
too. I think so too. We talk a lot.
We do talk a lot. Okay, let's end it off here and then carry on in the next episode.
So, guys, we will see you in part two.
Part two, 13.
Bye.